Hey, business building warrior. It's another episode of Silent Sales Machine Radio. So excited to be coming to you with so many great things lined up. Here we are plowing through spring 2023, and the calendar is filling up with some amazing things that will be happening the rest of this year. So many great interview episodes lined up for you. If you happen to be new around here, maybe this is one of your first episodes that you're listening to, I would strongly encourage you, please listen to 5, 10, or 20 more episodes where we interview some of the successful students of our flagship training course. I'm talking about the Proven Amazon course, available only at provenamazoncourse.com. We have hundreds of interviews that we've done over the past few years, dozens of recent examples of people who are succeeding wildly using the training and the content, the flagship course leading the industry, helping people succeed on Amazon. And you can hear story after story after story. You jump into our Facebook group, you're going to find about 1,700 tagged examples of people sharing the success that they're having with the training that we have to offer. So we're very excited to have you as a new listener. For those who've been around a while, hey, this is one of those episodes where we're going to hear from Brian and Robin Joy. You've come to love them recently. They've recorded a handful of episodes. They always have some great insights. And if you weren't aware, these are two of the coaching directors on our team. We have about 60 coaches on our team, divided up into a handful of teams, each with a director. Well, Brian and Robin Joy are directing one of those teams. If you didn't know this about our coaching program, you should know all 60 of our coaches are people who have been through the Proven Amazon course. They succeeded at a very high level and caught our attention. And then we recruited them to become coaches because they also had a teacher's heart and they believed in the vision of what we're trying to do around here. They're confident, they're accomplished, they're eager to train others. That's the kind of coach that you want to have. So Brian and Robin Joy manage a coaching team made up of several of the coaches on our team. And they also do a lot of coaching themselves, which makes them very qualified to make observations about what students are struggling with, what questions they have, some of the struggles that they're facing day to day. So today they're going to jump in and talk about a topic that I think is very interesting. We don't do a lot of mindset type of discussions around here very often, but something that they've pointed out that's been very helpful in their business, and they emphasize it in their students as well, is you need to take time to celebrate the wins. So what are those check marks? What are those points where you can confidently pat yourself on the back and say, well done, I did it. I crossed a new benchmark. I've made it to that next base camp level in my business. What are some of those things you can be looking for as you're building your Amazon or e-commerce business? And they go through some very specific things today that I think you'll really enjoy hearing them go through. But as I was listening to this episode before I sent it to you, I made an observation, and that's this. There is some timeless wisdom that you've heard us refer to around here quite often. We draw from biblical lessons and biblical examples. The business advice inside the greatest selling book of all time is second to none. So we use a lot of those principles in our day-to-day businesses. And one of them is that you're going to do so much better if you've got an optimistic approach to life, business, health, anything that you do. You're going to do so much better. This is science. You're going to come out so far ahead if you take a positive approach versus having a skeptics or a negative approach. Even going so far as saying that more people will want to work with you, which means you'll put more money in the bank, you'll have better relationships, you'll be healthier yourself. It just fuels positivity into every area of your life to have optimism. But you can't just turn on optimism. You can't just make a choice one day. I'm going to be optimistic. I just made a decision. I used to be pessimistic and skeptical all the time. Now I'm going to be optimistic and positive all the time. You can't do that. We're not wired to be able to just flip a switch. It's very difficult. But you can make a choice to have that switch flipped for you almost subconsciously. And it's a little trick that many of us know. It's a biblical thing, actually. Thousands of years in the Hebrew culture and among Christian cultures, they've understood this. And even modern psychology tells you this. Do you know what one little trick will put you into a state of optimism and gratitude? Optimism and positivity. I just gave away the secret. It's gratitude. That's right. That's why you're seeing such a trend now. People saying, oh, I keep a gratitude journal. I'm starting my day with gratitude. Why is that? That puts you into a positive, optimistic, forward-facing state of mind, being well-grounded and grateful for the things that have gotten you to where you are, even the challenges that have taught you lessons. Instead of focusing on the loss, you learn to focus on the lesson, for example, because of gratitude. It is a secret sauce. And things that Robin, Joy, and Brian are talking about today, well, those are all things that you're celebrating, you're grateful for, you're remembering, which is a huge word. Remember where you came from. What's the trajectory? You've been learning some things. You've gotten more confident. You're seeing some wins. Yes, you're seeing some challenges and some losses too, but that's the journey. And you look at that trajectory and you're grateful for each new step, each new plateau that you arrive at. You're going to build something very special. More people are going to want to work with you. You're going to attract like-minded people who are on their own journeys towards building something special. So focus on gratitude. That's the little mini lesson I wanted to drop on today's episode before I turn the microphone over to Coach's Corner with Brian and Robin Joy. One last little thing before I hand them the microphone for the rest of the episode. If you aren't coming to our Proven Conference in July, now's the chance to get tickets. July 6th through 8th in Columbus, Ohio. Hundreds of listeners to this program have already registered. We're going to have dozens of our coaches there. A lot of the successful students that you've heard interviewed on this show, they're going to be there talking about their business, sharing very openly how to do their business the right way, what works, what doesn't, what tools we're using, what strategies we're using, plus a whole bunch of new content that's exclusively going to be released and launched at the event itself this year. Go look at theprovenconference.com. The website again, theprovenconference.com, has a list of the topics we're going to be hitting this year, July 6th through 8th in Columbus, Ohio. It's going to be a great event. Hey, if you can't make it, we do have a live stream option that we've just started selling. You can jump into the same private Facebook group as all of the attendees for just a few dollars, and then you can get the content from the comfort of your home. It's all recorded, of course. If you can't watch during the times that we're going live, it's all recorded and captured for you as well as part of the live stream. It's a great deal to lock in live stream because you will save a ton on trying to buy the videos later. The videos will cost more than live stream if you try to buy just the videos later. So you do want to get in on that deal. Go to theprovenconference.com to read about getting tickets or the live stream and all the other details. It's all right there. All right, so let's jump over and have a great Coach's Corner with Brian and Robin Joy Olson. You're going to enjoy this one.
Welcome back to Silent Sales Machine Radio. We are your co-hosts. I'm Brian.
And I'm Robin Joy.
And this is Coach's Corner. So we have a kind of a fun topic today.
I think it is.
You know, this is something that we discuss a lot with our coaching clients. And it's a little bit of a mindset shift compared to what they're usually dealing with.
Right.
You want to introduce the topic?
Well, I think we want to talk today about celebrating the wins, even the small ones. We celebrate everything in the Olson household.
I do, yes. And I think it's important to celebrate everything that you can find because, as I've heard someone say before, what you focus on, you create more of. Mm-hmm. So we want to focus on all the positive things that are going on, right?
Right. So there's a pretty good example of that you always say about cars, right? Tell us what that is.
Well, like the first time you buy a car that you like as a brand or color that you've never owned before, all of a sudden you see them everywhere, right? This is the easy example. Oh, I bought this, I don't know.
Ford Bronco.
Yeah, I bought one of the new Ford Broncos. I never even noticed them before. Now that I own one, I see them everywhere, right? Or I didn't know, I remember when I first saw the sort of matte finish on the cars, right? And I was like, oh, that's cool. And now I see it everywhere, right? Because I'm in tune with that. And so what we're trying to do is help get our coaching clients in tune with the positive things that are going on in their business. Because the truth is, sometimes it can get a little brutal when you wake up in the morning to an IP complaint, or you wake up in the morning to a customer complaint or something like that.
Sure.
So we got to turn it around and start focusing on the positive things.
Right. Let's don't let that be our day.
Right.
Right.
So
what do we do every morning?
Well, every morning.
That's what you were going to ask me.
Yeah, I was going to ask you. Yeah. Well, we've got a list of things that we go through every morning that we are celebrating.
So we get up in the morning, we pour a cup of coffee, and we go through some business items that make us smile, that start our day off well. So tell us what some of those things are, Brian.
So the first thing we do is we look at yesterday's sales and we write it down. What were the sales yesterday?
Yeah.
And
So much.
what do we do?
Yes.
We do a fist bump on everything.
We do
right?
on everything.
Yes. So we celebrate the sales that we had yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're also tracking the sales that we had month to date.
Mm-hmm.
And tracking the sales that we had year to date.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is something we do because we want to keep track of those things.
Right.
But as we're going through, our little tracking list that we do every day, we celebrate every little bit of it, and it makes us have a good day. So what else is on that list?
Well, I'm just thinking now what we do. This is what we do,
right?
And this is what we sort of coach our clients to do as well.
Do.
Right? We're focusing on the good things in your business. What were the sales yesterday? Hey, you had sales yesterday. Then the other thing is, if you're using a tool like Sellerboard, you can pretty easily identify how much profit did I make yesterday.
Yes.
Right? And some days you're like, oh, I thought I made more profit than that. And then
but you know what? You made profit.
But you made profit. Well, what I was going to say is sometimes the profit number gets marginalized by a shipment that went out that same day too, and so that all of your inbound transportation goes against that one day.
Sure.
Right. Or if you happen to have those ASINs on the way into the fulfillment center. But yes, sales yesterday, month to date, year to date. Profit yesterday, month to date, year to date.
You know what my favorite one is?
Oh yeah, what's that?
Feedback from customers.
Oh yes.
Love reading feedback from customers. We read it out loud to each other. Any feedback that we get.
Yeah.
And if it's negative feedback, of course we deal with that. We often though get positive feedback, and we celebrate that, and we actually out loud say thank you to the customer.
That was something
I know the customer can't hear us, but it's good for us to be grateful for that and know that that is a person who took the time to say something nice about us. And we want to show that gratefulness.
Yeah. I was thinking about back on the first podcast that we did in the summer of 20, and we were telling Jim about all the merchant fulfilled orders that we were doing, because that was the way you had to do it back
during
then.
COVID, yes.
And we would thank every single customer, right? As we're printing the label. Thank you, Janet
Mary
Evans
Jo
from,
St. Louis, Missouri.
St. Louis, right. Thank you, Jim Bob from Orlando, Florida.
Yeah.
So, and it was just, way to be grateful. Way to focus on the gratitude in the business, right?
And it was for us, obviously, Mary Jo in St. Louis couldn't hear us say that, but it really made us, it helped our day be better when we could be grateful for our customers, the people that took time out to say something nice about us. That's my favorite.
Yeah. Those feedbacks are always great.
Yes.
Also, if you can embrace when you don't get a good feedback, right? This can be challenging when things are not going in your favor, and a poor customer feedback can do that to you. But instead of start you off on the wrong foot, getting in your head in a bad way, how about embracing that opportunity and treating it as a learning experience?
Yes.
Oh, I've never had this complaint before. Let me see how I can learn from this so I don't get this complaint again, or I can figure out how to get this complaint removed.
I have an example of that.
Okay.
I remember that we got some bad, not bad feedback. We got some feedback that was a complaint from a customer because we were selling some frosting, cake icing frosting in those little 1 pound tubs. It was a 2-pack, and it was it exploded on the inside the poly bag, and they kind of got a mess. And so we realized, because of that feedback, that we needed to package that better and put stretch wrap around it and make sure it could handle all the juggling and everything. So we can be grateful that person told us about that, because if nobody told us, people could just be, mad and upset and never say anything. So we're really grateful that person told us about that and gave us the opportunity to correct that situation.
Well, I think I heard you telling the story to someone before, and it wasn't a feedback. We had to actually go digging on that, right? Which is another thing that we do track every morning, which is voice of the customer. And you found it when we were reviewing voice of the customer.
That's right. That's true. You're right. I found it when I was reviewing That's one of the ththings that we do in the morning is
Yeah.
review voice of the customer.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. That is how we found that. And I was recently telling that story. Thank you.
Yep.
So the same thing would apply for feedback if that were the case.
Well, it just goes to show you there are a lot of places you can look in the business for positive, and there are a lot of places you can look for potential negative that will help you be better in the business. Voice of the customer is one of those places, right?
And that's one of the things that helped us learn to look at voice of the customer regularly so that we can catch those things.
Right. Yep. I remember one of the things that was a big celebration point for us back in the day was $100 a day in sales for 30 days.
Yes. Oh, we tried so hard for so long. But we got it. We get up to, 15 days and then we wouldn't get $100 in that sales. We were trying to get $100 a day for 30 days in a row. And it seemed like it took forever.
You know how you solved that problem?
More ASINs.
More ASINs, yeah.
That's
Eventually that problem solved.
That's exactly what we did about it.
And then the checkbox for us was $500 a day for 30 days, and so on.
And so on and so on. Right, exactly.
Also, we celebrate the daily sales milestones, right?
Yep.
Aren't we always fist bumping?
Yes.
500, 1,000, right?
Yes, all day long. And if we're not together, we'll text each other that we noticed that.
Yeah.
And celebrate that, and we respond to each other. Just the little celebrations that keep us thinking about each other, thinking about our business, and thinking about how grateful we are.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. So let's say you don't have any sales yet.
Okay.
You don't have $100 a day, right? You don't have any voice of the customers.
Yeah, because I'm kind of, still on my first 100 ASINs.
Right.
Just sent a shipment or two in. They're all tests.
There were no sales yesterday.
Yes.
So what other kind of things can you celebrate in the absence of those?
Gosh. Help me out. I'm not prepared for this.
Oh, no. That's right here on the outline. I queued it right up for you.
How many tests did I send it? How many tests did I identify?
How many tests did I identify? Yes, I like that's a good one. We also celebrate when a shipment goes in.
Yes.
Right? How many shipments? Sorry, did we get a shipment in this week? A second shipment this week?
Last week? Is this our second shipment this week?
And
does this one have our first set of replens in it after we're not just testing anymore?
Right. So how many new tests were identified? And then, did you have any tests that passed and made it to your replens list?
First
right?
time.
That's a celebration.
First time you got a solid replen that's passed the test. That's exciting. We celebrate these with our
right.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Let's see what else. Oh, shipments. We talked about that.
Yep.
This is an interesting one because I think you can look at it in two ways.
Yeah.
Which is capital. How much capital do we have to spend? And we do track this in terms of our bank accounts and our Amazon balance. And any, say, lines of credit or other capital that we have available, we are tracking that every day. And we're saying, on the one hand, yes, we have, $3,000 to go spend. Right. But what if we have $0 to go spend?
We say, yes, we spent $3,000.
Or yes, we've spent all our available capital.
All of it. Yes.
Yes. That's a celebration in itself. So
exactly.
You can celebrate that in both ways. And then you could also say, how much capital did we spend this week? Like if you've got a spending goal, which is we're hearing a lot of people talk about, and I agree with.
I do too.
Then when you hit that goal, that's a celebration too.
Right. Because Brian, you're the one who always says that. And I think this is very important to remember. It is important to spend inventory capital so that you can make money. It seems a little wrong, but the celebration of being able to spend that, the alternative is you don't have anything to spend it on, right? So what cures that?
More ASINs.
More ASINs.
Right.
That's right.
So so you do have things to spend it on. That's a good position to be in when you have no capital left, right? The only thing I would caution around that is don't spend it all in 1 week.
Right. Or
that's all you got, or all in one ASIN, right? Yeah, keep your inch deep mile wide going, right?
Right. Exactly. Okay.
That's good. You already brought up the customer feedback.
Yeah, that's my favorite one.
I know it is your favorite one. And you like to read those out loud. If you're busy, I'll read it out loud. And it's another form of gratitude for our opportunity that we have here.
And we do the same thing. Thank you, Mary Jo in St. Louis. I hope someone in this group is not named Mary Jo and they live in St. Louis, because I'm not talking specifically about you. I'm just making up these names and places. But so we still do that.
We also track a number of things every day that can be sort of indicators about the health of our business overall.
Right. We have a little checklist that we go through each day.
And we've given this to most, if not all, of our coaching clients to this day, right? So one of those things is our account health. So when we're looking through the account health, if we've got zeros on everything, which is the way we like to keep it, then we're celebrating that every day. If there's something that pops up, it can be really challenging. I mean, trust me, when you still haven't had your first cup of coffee, you're looking over your business and you get whatever shows up in your account health dashboard, an IP complaint, a counterfeit complaint, whatever, restricted policy violation, something like that. It can really set you off. And I have to remember, even to this day, that when that pops up, treat it as an opportunity to learn and still get better in the business, right?
Agreed.
What can we do to avoid that in the future? Is it a product? Is it a brand? Is it a packaging issue? Is it an IP complaint that we can actually maybe reach out to the manufacturer or the distributor and develop a relationship while we're working through this complaint or whatever until we get it removed? And in some cases, you can chalk up the whole experience to just experience because you may not be able to get it taken care of. But you have gone through, you've done everything that you can do, which is a celebration in itself. Right. Because what if you tapped out early? What if there were 8 steps and you at step 2 tapped out and you didn't get to the end and you don't know if you could have gotten that thing.
Right.
There was I'm going to go a little off script here. There was recently an NBA playoff series where I can't remember the team, but it was the number 1 seed in the East or in one of the conferences.
Okay.
I'm not a huge basketball fan as much as slam football.
Yeah.
And the person who was on the losing team, he was the leader of the losing team, was interviewed, and the person interviewing him said something about, how does it feel to fail? You must feel terrible after you failed to, you were the number 1 seed and whatever.
That's right.
I know. I mean, I don't know exactly how the question was phrased, but I know it was about failure because the response I did see, and the response was, we have failure every day. We're not going to win every day. It's sports. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. We treat it as learning experience. We're going to come back next year. We're not, we're going to hope to not fail next year.
Yeah, that's really good.
But if you never even get there, you don't have the opportunity to go through it.
Right.
And that's what I mean about there might be 8 steps in this process to deal with an IP complaint, and you get all the way through 8 steps and it still doesn't go away. That's okay. Embrace the fact that you did everything that you can do.
Yes.
Right. As opposed to.
And on that note, I feel we should bring up that we use Jeff Schick and Jeff Schick Legal for our IP complaints or any account health issues that we need to address legally, that he's got a really good program. And so I just thought I'd throw that in. We do use him and we think he's great.
And if I remember right, lawyers can't pay referral or commissions and stuff like that. So, we don't earn anything by saying that. No. And people who also talk about Jeff Schick in the community, they don't earn anything by recommending Jeff either. This is just based on our experience. It's a great service to have. We've had the opportunity.
Peace of mind.
It does. It helps me sleep so much better at night, knowing that if anything like that comes up, right, I can turn to Jeff.
Call Jeff and say, what do we do? Often he says, it's okay, don't worry about it. That just makes me feel better.
We've been fortunate enough to spend a little bit of time with Jeff on a couple of different occasions, and vouch for.
He's also just a great guy.
He is a great guy. Yeah. So maybe we'll have Jeff on the Coach's Corner podcast.
Oh, maybe we'll get him to do that. That's a great idea.
Right. So account health is one of those things that we absolutely celebrate. Right.
We do.
Whether it's clear or whether there's an opportunity for us to figure out how to resolve.
And we almost always learn something for the future about any account health that we have to deal with. And that gives us peace of mind too. Okay, we've been through this before. We know how this goes. It's going to be fine.
We'll get back to the show in just a moment, but I have to tell you about a coaching program that's been around for about 19 years. It's coached almost 10,000 e-commerce business building warriors. It's got a team of about 60 coaches who are not only great teachers with tremendous hearts who love their students, but they're all succeeding at the business strategies that you hear taught on this show. If you haven't figured it out yet, I'm talking about our coaching program. There's a link at silentjimdotcom. Get over there, get on our schedule, have a free consultation, zero pressure. We're going to help you build your business on that call. Sign up at silentjimdotcom. free consultation. See if our coaching program is a good fit for you, where you get to not only work one-on-one with one of our tremendous coaches, not only do you get that, you also get a reactive coach that you can contact at any point in time. That's a separate coach. You get all the training and content that we provide around here at no cost now and into the future. Tremendous list of benefits. I'm not going to go into all of them right now. silentjimdotcom. Click on the coaching link, sign up for a consultation. Hey, let's get back to the program.
Maybe we'll have Jeff on the Coach's Corner podcast.
Oh, maybe we'll get him to do that. That's a great idea.
Right. So account health is one of those things that we absolutely celebrate, right?
We do.
Whether it's clear or whether there's an opportunity for us to figure out how to resolve.
And we almost always learn something for the future about any account health that we have to deal with. And that gives us peace of mind too. Okay, we've been through this before. We know how this goes. It's going to be fine. Right?
All right. We also...
Can I just say, I'm going to go off script too.
Okay.
Is that all right? So I like to look at it as a deck of cards. Anybody who's coached with me has probably heard this story. So when you have a deck of cards, you have 52 cards and you have 4 aces in the deck and you're looking for those aces. And I'm talking about searching for test aces. Yeah. So one thing that I like to celebrate is if I go through 20 aces and none of them are good.
Worthy.
Test-worthy. Yeah, none of them are test-worthy. And I went through 20 aces and none of them were test-worthy. Well, you know what? I can celebrate the fact that there's 20 fewer that I have to go through. Those are turned over and I know those aces are in there. Now I only have 32. Here we are doing math again. Don't let us do math on here. Then now I have only 30 aces cards to go through to find the aces.
Whatever it is. Yeah.
Whatever
28.
the number is. I don't have as many to go through.
Right. Well, it's kind of like we talk about, you and I talk about anyway, like trying to find a replan is like trying to find a needle in a haystack. It can feel that way to a lot of people who are just starting out on this, right?
Yes.
And so what we like to do is carve out a smaller version of that haystack. Right. That's, 52, 100, 300, whatever, instead of the whole ocean.
Right.
Instead of going through, 50 million products to find that.
Amazon is a huge haystack.
Yeah.
With a few needles that we're trying to find.
So we like to carve out a little bit of that.
Yeah.
Make it a
smaller haystack.
Yeah.
It's still a haystack, but it's much smaller.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Agreed.
Okay. Now that I got myself doing math on.
Well, let me throw another one at you. IPI score.
Oh, IPI score.
Yeah.
Yeah. We celebrate the IPI score.
We do celebrate the IPI score. And sometimes the celebration is just that it didn't go down.
Yes.
Or it went up a couple of points, right? It's a rolling average. And so, the things that you do are going to take to try and improve your score are going to take, a few weeks for that to kind of kick in and impact your overall score. So now's a good time to mention Q4 is not that far away.
That's right.
If you need to start cleaning up your IPI, you better think about that and put a strategy into place to figure out how you can improve that. But that is something that we look at every day and celebrate too.
It is.
Right? It's a portion of the business that is important to us. It kind of...
We always know about what our IPI score is. And we're always giving attention to that just to make sure that it doesn't get away from us. And we don't happen to not look at it for a couple of months and then all of a sudden go, oh, shoot, now we've got stuff to manage.
And I know that it's not just us because in at least 2 of our other masterminds, I hear people saying this all the time. Hey, my IPI score dropped by 5. What the heck?
Yes.
Right? So they're tracking that every day as well.
Yeah.
And again, if it goes down, treat it as an opportunity, a learning experience that you can embrace and say, okay, I'm going to figure out how to resolve this problem for the future. That's a win. That is absolutely a win.
I think we also consider that an opportunity to help other people that we're working with. Okay, we've been through the IPI score going down, and so let's look and see what's causing that and see what we can do to make it better. That's a lot of times what we do with people that we're working with personally. And so when we find ideas that we hadn't thought of before, just because our IPI score had some things going on, that's helpful for us to be helpful for others, which is where we find our success and reward.
That is our reward in life for sure.
Yeah.
One of the other things, or many of the other things that I think we can celebrate as well, is were we able to outsource any tasks? last week, last month, last year, whatever. I mean, it's rare that we're celebrating something we did last year and this year, but if it's right in that December, January timeframe, can absolutely be. But I remember, I don't think we celebrated when the very first thing that we outsourced, because we weren't maybe celebrating all the wins at that time.
We were moving fast at that time.
Because we didn't have a lot of time for celebrations because we were busy, right?
Right.
But absolutely, if there's anything that you were able to outsource in your business, whether you found a new shopper, you found a way to streamline your shopping in some way. Maybe, like we mentioned before, maybe you combine your curbside pickup with your in-store shopping and saved yourself a little bit of time, or you found a way to save 30 minutes a day on something. You
learned how to use a cashback site or something that's added to your profits.
Right. These are wins. These are really tangible things. Now, I think it's important not to get too far in the weeds about where you're focus on the things in your business that can, I don't know. I lost where I was going to go with that.
It happens.
Anyway, if you get a prep center, this is a major accomplishment for a lot of people. We heard from someone today who said, hey, we sent our first stuff into our prep center.
Yes.
Right, we're just waiting for the shipment to go out. Now, they were just adding that to their in-store arbitrage business, but it is a celebration when that happens. You are scaling your business. With all of these things, you're scaling or maintaining the ability to scale.
Making progress.
It's all progress.
Taking those steps forward.
It's a win.
Yes, it's a win.
How about another one? What if you join a mastermind group?
That's a great one.
Is that a win?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it is too.
I think, a lot of times our clients will tell us, oh, I found a mastermind group and now I'm meeting with them once a week or once every couple of weeks or however often they meet. And it's so encouraging for me to be able to talk about this to other people that are doing the same thing that I am. And I'm learning from them and I'm sharing with them. I'm able to help them. That's really rewarding to be able to help other people. We know, and we do a lot of it. We try to help a lot of people, and it's rewarding for us.
Well, you know that we're all about perspectives, right? And the great thing about being in a mastermind group is that you have all these other perspectives about your business. Now, granted, they're probably not as close to your business as you are, but sometimes you are so deep, where they say you can't see the forest for the trees, right? That someone else looking from the outside can give you a great perspective on your business. So just being in touch with people in a mastermind or even a friends group, if you will, can be super beneficial and something to celebrate. It's an absolute win.
I agree. It's a win.
All right.
It's a win. Okay, what else we got here?
How about this one? I know this is your favorite.
This is my favorite personal one, booking a vacation. Love booking a vacation.
What's not to celebrate about booking a vacation?
Something to look forward to.
We just did that.
We did.
Just booked a vacation with some business friends. This is going to be a blast.
It's going to be a blast, yes.
And I don't know how much more excited you could be about life than being able to go on vacation. Right? Go away, enjoy it.
Right?
Yeah. Now, we try and have a vacation every day or every week, right?
A little bit.
And so learning to appreciate what you have can be like that. But still, there are things that are going to be special in your life, and going on vacation is one of them. And that's a win. Booking the vacation, I think, is a win.
Yes.
What's the second half of that?
The second half of that is my business is prepared for me to go on vacation. I think that's a pretty big one.
That is great. Now, how do you manage that?
Well, it depends on what your business looks like, of course. If you're outsourced, it's a lot easier if you have people to, handle the tasks that you would be handling if you were there. That's great. But we were just talking to a friend this weekend who is going on vacation, and she did all of her shopping and got everything sent to a prep center, and already she's going to be gone for a few weeks, I think. And so she does not have to worry about sourcing and shopping while she's gone. So she got a whole bunch of it taken care of ahead of time so that she doesn't have to worry about it.
Right. That is a huge win. I can't.
She can just kind of check in every day and make sure nothing's going on.
Then you really can just, the only thing you do is checking your sales, right?
Right.
Yeah. That's great. I love that we have the ability to create our business in such a way that we can cram maybe a month's worth of work into 10 days in preparation for a vacation. And so not only going on vacation, but being prepared to go on vacation is absolutely something to celebrate.
Yes, because you don't want to be stressing out about everything that you were supposed to do. We get that in a job, right? When we have a 9 to 5, we get stressed out when we want to go on vacation for fear that something will happen that we can't manage, and then it'll look bad on us, and that's just no fun. We don't want that to be in our own business. That's not why we're doing this.
Right.
Let's be prepared as much as we can and get the help that we need, or get things done ahead of time and plan for what that's going to mean to our business.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed. All right, last one.
I quit my job. When our clients come to us and say, I was able to quit my job because my business is doing so well, my 9 to 5 job doesn't matter anymore. That is just one of the greatest celebrations.
Absolutely.
That's what they were shooting for. Not everybody's shooting for that, but if that's what they were wanting to do, that is just the best feeling, to see somebody who is able to celebrate moving on from their job.
And you can relate to that person.
I can. When I was able to quit my job and I didn't have to go find another one, that was so big. And I haven't been back to work since. And it gives me such a feeling of freedom that I can do what's important to me, not what's important to someone else. I can build my business instead of helping somebody else, and instead of doing the work so someone else can build their business. It's just a wonderful thing. If that's what you're shooting for, make it happen.
All right, I'm going to put a paradigm shift in here.
All right.
And say, even if you can't quit your job in reality,
right?
Maybe you can quit your job in your mental headspace.
We do that sometimes.
Right? We do that a lot. And what I mean by this is, pretend that you did quit your job, but you're doing it because you are an expert at what you do. And you were hired as a consultant. And you are there as a consultant, a success coach, whatever it is that, where you make an impact in the company that you're working for, to say, yeah, I'm doing this because I want to, right? And I'm adding value and I have all this expertise, as opposed to
this is a stream of income for me, just like my business is.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Maybe your heart is in your e-commerce business, but you can still be a success / consultant for the company a success coach / consultant for the company that you might be spending a fair amount of time at anyway.
Exactly. And we do this ourselves. Sometimes we'll go away for a weekend and just pretend that we don't have any responsibilities and everything is passive income and it's all taken care of. And we just live as if it's like that. So maybe that's a little woo-woo for some people, but we have fun doing stuff like that.
I do like it. Yeah. So, all right. I think we've gotten towards the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
Just to wrap this up, put a summary on it.
Few things that we celebrate.
Yeah, we like to just to focus on the things that all the little things in your business, in your e-commerce business, in your life, in your job that can be chalked up to wins. Let's celebrate those things, right?
So let me ask you, Brian. If something happens and your day starts out kind of tough, or you've kind of been through half the day and you're just kind of struggling through, it's not going as well as you would like for it to go, where do you go? What do you do to give yourself a little lift?
It's a good question. And it happens, right?
Some people are not going to believe you.
Some people are not going to believe me. Well, what do you think my answer is?
Sourcing.
Oh, yeah. This is one of the things I will frequently say to coaching clients is like,
it's true. It really is true.
The world is beating me up, when Amazon is on my crap list and all the stuff seems to be going wrong, if I need a place to go where I'm like going to feel better about myself and my life, I will go sourcing. There's something, I was thinking about this before we started because you mentioned it. There's something that, it's what do they call it when it's cathartic, right?
Yes.
It's very methodical. And I can find success there. And
Me too. That's where I can find a win. I know I can find a win if I go sit down and source for a little while.
Yeah.
I know I'll find at least one win.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a win. And, you get to where some people like us get to where you really enjoy it. Some people never do.
Yeah.
Some people can't believe that you ever could.
Yeah.
But you'll get there if you want to, and that is one of our places that we go. And everybody has their own way of doing that. So what else were you going to say?
It's a comfort zone for sure.
Yes. Somewhere where I'm comfortable. I know what the rules are. I know what's going to work for me.
And I know I can win.
and I know I can win.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's what better place to be than that, right? That's why.
What would our niece say? Winning.
This is why that's. Well, what I was going to say is that if I'm really in a bad headspace, that like if you're like, wow, you're really grumpy today, and then I have to take a step back. I'm like, oh, am I grumpy? Okay. Then I'll try to remember something that keeps me, that changes my mindset a little bit. Like if you want to change your life, you got to change your life.
Right.
That's one that sticks with me all the time. If you want to change your life, you got to change your life. Oh, change my life. That means don't be a grump.
Don't be a grump.
Right.
Okay. Don't want to be a grump anymore, so stop being a grump.
Don't be a grump. Okay, well, and then I can immediately usually focus on. I can find something that I can chalk up. Okay, this is a win. And again, start getting back on the track. Usually, when that happens, it's because it's like you get hit with a combination of things, right?
Yes.
That wasn't a Muhammad Ali combo. It was some other combo. It was an Amazon combo or a prep center combo or something.
Or a supplier combo.
Or it was like a combo followed by a combo followed by a combo.
Yeah.
And then you're like, feel like you're out on your feet.
You gotta go, hold on. Let's take a breath.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to reset. Yeah. Right? And go back. This is why we like to name all these things out, because a lot of times if you don't identify what they are, it can be hard to go find one. But when you have a list like this that you can refer to and go celebrate, then it becomes much easier. Oh yeah, let me look at my sales yesterday. Yeah.
Yes.
I had this many sales. I had this much profit.
That's right. Yeah. So a lot of times, in the beginning, you say, I want to celebrate one sale a week for all this month, for 4 weeks in a row.
Yep.
One sale a week. Great. Then you want to get one sale a day for 30 days in a row. So start small. The little things work. That's great. And then it'll grow. It'll grow. You'll do more of it. You know how you get more sales, right?
You get more aces.
Test more aces.
Test more aces. Right. And you know how you quit your job?
Test more aces.
Test more aces.
Absolutely.
All right. Great episode.
Great episode. Yes.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Celebrate with us.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey, thanks for joining us today. One last thing before I let you go. Once a week or so, typically on a Wednesday episode, we love to hang out with my good friend, Jeff Schick. He's our resident expert for all things Amazon legal and policy. He always has a great tip or strategy for us, something to be aware of as sellers. What do you got for us this week, Jeff?
Well, I think the buzzword everyone is hearing about right now is identity verifications. And what does that mean in the world of Amazon sellers? So this segment's really geared towards helping sellers not fear the ID verification, which will come at some point, and understand why it's happening and how you can protect yourself against becoming one of the horror stories that people hear about.
Now, let me just ask you a quick question, Jeff, before you go there, because we're even talking about, I'm hearing from sellers, they've been selling for 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And Amazon's popping in like, hey, we need to verify your ID. And then panic ensues, of course. Like everything from new sellers, which that's always been a bit of a challenge. And Amazon does like the little video review thing now to verify identity. Right. So we're talking about both of these, right?
We are. Mainly, though, it's the re-verifications is that people are coming across, because like you said, it's the 2 to 3 year old seller. Even 13-year-old sellers have reached out to me saying they're getting hit with the verifications and wanting to know, well, what do we do about it? And how do we handle it? So to jump right in, the reason why this is happening is that there's been a couple of US laws that were passed that require Amazon to verify the identities for high volume merchants. So they've got to comply with these federal acts in order to be compliant. They also, another thing that's been going on is there's been changes to the payment facilitator laws. And Amazon is what we would call a payment facilitator, meaning they accept payments on behalf of consumers that are then remitted to a third party, aka the seller, for those goods. And so because they have to comply with these different payment facilitator laws and these other laws like the Informed Consumers Act, they now have to go through and verify who they're paying. Sounds easy. It really is, for the most part, pretty easy. If you get one of those verification, letters, which chances are, if you haven't gotten one yet, you probably will. It's not a need to panic, but it's really just as long as your ducks are in a row, you'll be totally fine. The biggest issues we're seeing right now really comes down to people that are trying to hide who they are running into issues. So naturally, if you are giving Amazon false information because you're trying to hide your identity, you're not going to pass an identity verification suspension when they try to do it. I know it sounds simple, but I've had a couple conversations with sellers where They were adamant that they wanted to make sure Amazon didn't find out who they were, and they went to great lengths. The problem is that if you give them, for instance, a PO box and you say that you live in a PO box, you're not going to pass an ID verification suspension. Same thing goes if you've got, if you live at 123 Maple Street and your driver's license says 123 Maple Street, but you give Amazon an address for, 789 Oak Street, that's going to raise a red flag. And the reason's not because you may own the house on Oak Street, but they're going to look you up and they're going to type your social security number into a credit reporting agency database, most likely from Equifax or Experian. And they're going to pull up all of your known addresses. And it's going to pull up, hey, he lives at this address. And what naturally is going to happen is they're going to flag it and say, well, we can't approve this because Experian says you live at 123 Maple Street. And you gave us all this information showing you live on Oak Street. So unless you help us bridge the gap, how do we know, one, that you're not stealing the identity of somebody on Oak Street? Or how do we know that you're not a terrorist that's just using some random identity and address?
Sure.
It's all things that they have to worry about. So sellers that are having issues right now, a lot of them really come down to having wrong information in there. Like it tells you like one of the questions is, what is your place of establishment? Well, on Amazon, place of establishment is where you legally reside. Unless you're a big enough business that you have a commercial office space with a state or county or city issued business license and business utility bills and your real legit business space, zoning permits and all that sort of stuff, then you should be using your place of establishment address would be your home address. So when you give them a UPS store, that's not going to fly when they Google it and see that this is a UPS store that
Right.
you're claiming to live inside of.
Makes total sense.
Yeah. So a lot of what we're seeing is, it's no reason to panic, but if you have made these simple mistakes, just go in and fix them now. Don't wait till you get the verification to start fixing them, but certainly fix them before you submit the verification. Like if you listen to this episode and you take no action, you forget about it, and in 3 weeks you get a verification suspension, you say, oh man, my place of establishment is still the UPS store. That's fine. Fix it. Then go through your verification.
Right.
Don't think that you're going to just go through the verification and sail through it, because it won't happen. It won't happen. They're going to call you out on it. And it's not going to be it's going to go from a 24 to 48 hour process to a, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 week process. Who knows how long? It depends on how many other people are failed that are in line ahead of you.
Right.
So,
That makes total sense. It makes total sense why they would want to do it. And yeah, part of selling on Amazon is they need to know you are who you claim to be. Helps them fight fraud and fraudulent transactions. So it makes total sense to me. Yeah, it's come up a good handful of times in the Facebook group. So I appreciate you talking us through that today, Jeff. Good tips, man.
Absolutely. Yeah,
And
thank you.
Want to remind everyone too, Jeff Schick is at jeffschick.com, just like the razor. You can put on a retainer for a few dollars a day. Anytime you have any IP complaints or legal issues or policy challenges, I've sent your team some off the wall stuff. I mean, I've been doing this a long time and I still run into stuff pretty much weekly that I'm like, man, I need someone who knows their stuff. You're the
Thank
guys
you.
we
We appreciate
rely
it.
on. Yeah. And
Well, thank you.
Thanks for being a sponsor at the upcoming conference as well, the Proven Conference. You guys are coming, bringing your team. How many of you guys are coming with you this year?
So it's going to be 2 of our 5 people, although next time you and I speak, we might have 6 people. So,
Right.
it's going to be 2 of us that are coming to the conference, and we look forward to seeing everybody. Yeah, we can't wait to share. We've got some exciting stuff in the pipeline that we're going to be announcing that you'll be the first to hear it at Proven. So make sure you stop by. We're going to have some special, proven offer for anybody that wants to learn more about what we're coming up with and what we're launching. And it's going to be a special Proven pricing too. So.
Awesome. Yeah, lots of good deals. Do not miss that event, theprovenconference.com. And you can see on that page that Jeff is our top sponsor. We only got a couple top sponsor spots. Jeff grabbed one of them. And we certainly appreciate you making this event possible. And you're behind, I don't know if I filled you in or not, Jeff, but we've been able to offer for a whole lot of people, a bunch of scholarships were created because of the money that you guys helped provide for the event, where they can attend at no charge. So you're helping a lot of people attend the event at no charge. And a lot of gratitude from them and from me for making that possible this year. So thanks, buddy.
Thank you. We really appreciate all that you guys are doing. So we're happy to be able to support it. So thank you.
Outstanding. Well, we'll do this again next week. What do you say?
Sounds good.
All right, man. Talk to you
Have
soon.
more to share then.
Sure thing. See ya.
All right.